He brought him out.
For the Rockets and the Jazz, it has come down to a 7th and deciding game as the series has shifted back to the Toyota Center in Houston. A sellout crowd, better than 18,000, has turned out, complete with red pom-poms to stir things up. It's the Utah Jazz facing the Houston Rockets, with the winner advancing to the Western Conference semifinals to meet up with those electrifying Golden State Warriors. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Steve Kerr. Will be joined in a moment by Craig Sager. Well, this, the only first-round series that has gone down to a 7th and deciding game. And this is a series that has been all home court. As we check out the McDonald starting lineups for the Jazz, Carlos Boozer, their leading scorer, at just under 23 a game. He is up front with the revitalized Andre Kirilenko and the Meadow core, three-time NBA champion Derek Fisher and Deron Williams in the backcourt. For the Rockets, Tracy Mcgrady looking to turn it from his subpar Game 6 as he tries to get out of the first round for the first time in his NBA career. And he'll need another solid performance from Yao Ming, who turned it over 8 times in Game 6 on Thursday night. The officiating crew, Murray Fryer, Mike Callahan, and Tom Washington. And we're ready to go. Here's Tracy Mcgrady, who before the series got underway, Steve, he said, "This first round is on me."
He put all the pressure on himself, Marv, and so much riding on this game, both for him and the Rockets franchise. He's never won a playoff series. Starts out the game with a miss. But he's put the burden on his own shoulders. His teammates need him not only to score, but to create opportunities for them, too, tonight.
Carlos Boozer trying to work on Yao Ming. Deron Williams. Mehmet Okur with the shot clock down to 5. 3-second violation is called.
Well, that opening sequence for both clubs pretty much typified what we've seen all series. Points very difficult to come by. Jerry Sloan's teams have always been terrific defensively, as have those of Jeff Van Gundy. So points at a premium here tonight.
Rockets finished 52-30 in the regular season, the number 5 seed in the West. 52 wins, the most for the Rockets since back in 96-97. There's the re-entry pass to Yao.
And that's what Houston wants, Mark. The quick move from Yao Ming. He's been turning the ball over a lot in this series by over-dribbling. You see there, he just caught, turned, and shot over the top of the defense.
Hayes right up on Okur. Williams pass picked off by Alston. Laker Alston. And it was blocked by Kirilenko. Andre Kirilenko with the long arms. He'd been struggling earlier in the series and came back with a very strong performance in Game 6.
There aren't many players in the league who are more imposing in that situation. A one-on-one in the open floor against Kirilenko. More often than not, he'll block that shot.
Mcgrady pops it out. Battier for 3 coming up short.
2, and after 3, that's been a major theme in this series. The Rockets, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the NBA, as Williams gets the runner to go in transition. But Houston has been ice cold from 3 for most of this series, 32%. And besides that 12 for 24 explosion in Game 5, they have not been able to get that long-range shot to go.
Pass intended for Yao Ming. So the ball back to the Jazz. Head coach Jeff Van Gundy of the Rockets watching his team turn it over. Utah 51-31 in the regular season. For the number 4 seed, here's Fisher, Derek Fisher, able to knock it down.
Oh, Game 7s are filled with so much angst and pressure and nerves, but if there's one guy who probably won't be fazed here tonight, it's Derek Fisher. He's been through a lot of these wars.
Derek Fisher, a member of 3 Laker championship teams. Mcgrady kicks it out. There's Alston from downtown. And the foul on Yao Ming. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, a different look for the Utah Jazz. We mentioned that the home team has won every game in the series. Tonight they're wearing their powder blue uniform, their alternate uniform that they debuted earlier this season with a win at home against the Lakers. It was Carlos Boozer's idea. He says, we got to do something to change things.
Well, this is a Utah team that began the season at 12-1, the best start in the history of the franchise. Oh, core off the good look from Fisher.
Well, Utah is the quicker team. I mean, they're not explosive like Golden State or Phoenix, but they're more physical and they're a little more athletic than Houston, and we're seeing it here early.
6-2 start for Utah. Good job by Fisher. Mcgrady had to give it up. Here's Battier for three. James Battier in his sixth year out of Duke, acquired from Memphis in that deal for Stromile Swift. And the rights to Rudy Gay has had a very solid first season with the Rockets. Williams on a fade is fouled. Foul on Alston.
Omar, the three-point shots are so critical for Houston because they're not a team of playmakers. They rely on McGrady's penetration and Yao Ming's post game. And then everybody else has to feed off of those guys. That's why they shoot so many threes. They spread the floor. They made the third most threes in the NBA. They averaged 8 per game at about 37%. But in this series, they're making about 6 per game, shooting 32%. You look at some of the more accomplished three-point shooters on this club. Luther Head has had a tough series. He's only made 5 out of 21 threes. Alston struggling. Battier has had his moments, 5 for 7 from the line in Game 5, but for the most part, they've been very cold out there.
Utah with an 8-5 lead. Catch and shoot by Yao Ming. Beautifully done from deep along the baseline.
That's exactly what Jeff Van Gundy told us Yao Ming was going to do. He said he's got to make his move quickly. Can't mess around with this defense.
Deron Williams looking to set it up. Has the screen from Boozer. And then Boozer draws the foul. It's called in the act. So Boozer to the line. The foul is on Hayes. Follows Boozer, who had that 41-point game earlier in the series. We're back in Game 2 here in Houston. That was an explosion. 17 of 30 from the field, plus 12 rebounds. He's averaging just under 23 in this playoff series.
He's got a very favorable matchup because Houston is covering him with Yao Ming. They don't want Yao to have to get out to the three-point line to guard Okur. It's too much ground for him to cover. So instead they have him on Boozer. Boozer's a little too quick for him. He spaces up at 15, 17 feet, and he's been going right by Yao Ming in this series.
Utah with a 2-point lead. They double up on Yao. Mcgrady gets it right back to him. Yao Ming off to a terrific start. 3 for 3, 6 points.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy told us that he thought Yao was trying to do too much in this series, dribbling too often, letting that Utah help defense come down to bother him. He's kept things very simple here in the early going. Just catch, repost, and go for the basket.
Okur misfired. Jeff talking about Yao said, you know, he's an ordinary player, 12 feet and out, but 8 feet and in, he's the best player in the world. So that's where he wants him. That's where he is right here, but he rims out.
And he said the key to this series for Yao has been fighting for those 4 feet between the 8 and 12 feet mark, and that's what Utah is trying to deny him.
Fisher had a foot on the line. That's a 2-pointer. Utah 11 and Houston 9.
Boy, how valuable is Derek Fisher? Not just his playoff experience, but look at him guarding Tracy McGrady right now. He's had that duty for much of this series. So strong, he's going to get called for the foul there, reaching in. But it's rare when you get a guy about 6'1" who's capable of guarding the big 2 guards in this league. But Fisher, among the stronger point guards in the NBA, and he can cross over and cover either guard in most situations.
Derek wanted an explanation and did get it from the lead official, Bernie Fryer. First team foul on the Jazz. See McGrady feeling for Fisher. Goes to the fade as Fisher continues to do a strong job defensively.
Can't do anything more than that. He forced him into a fadeaway 18-footer.
Williams to the left hand. Okur, yes. Mehmet Okur, he was struggling earlier in the series, broke out the other night in Game 6. Hit 5 of 11 from the field, 19 points, a series high, 4 coming from beyond that three-point line.
This is a different team when Okur makes that three-pointer, and when Kirilenko is playing with activity. That's what's been the difference in the last few games in this series.
Here's Battier for three. And a good decision by Yao Ming, finding the wide open Shane Battier.
Well, a couple threes already for Battier. And if he stretches the floor, I think that's one of the keys to this game. Can somebody other than Yao and Mcgrady chip in with 15, 17 points? It may be Battier.
Boozer, yes. So both clubs shooting well. The Jazz 15, the Rockets 12.
And Yao Ming has to be careful. He's got one foul already, so he doesn't want to jump at any shot that Boozer takes from the perimeter, because Boozer will jump into him and draw that second.
That's a kick ball off the foot of Boozer, and it leads to a timeout. Utah's hit 6 of 7 here at the start, and Houston 5 of 10. 5.5 to go.
Okur is getting upset. I talked to Okur tonight. He said the key is 1, to beat him down the floor. 2, push him away from the block. And 3, anticipate his move. He said in the left block, he likes to use the jump hook. On the right block, the turnaround jumper. When he gets the ball in the paint, it's off the glass. Well, so far tonight, Yao, no turnovers. The difference, he's getting his position in the block and making his move quicker.
All right, thank you, Craig. And Tracy McGrady now 0 for 3 from the field. Utah 6 of 7 here at the start. They had 2 turnovers to open the game and then settle down. They lead by 3. Shot clock to 6. Boozer powers his way.
Boy, he has been spectacular. You see how quick he is, and that first step allows him to get around Yao. Then he's explosive enough to finish at the rim. One of the best left hands in terms of finishers in the NBA among big men.
Battier's pass knocked away by Kirilenko, and a 3-second violation call.
And you see why, when you get deflections, as Kirilenko did there, you see why it disrupts the offense. Here's the move by Boozer. Just a little reverse pivot, and then that left-hand finish when he catches Yao off guard.
Brady face guarding Kirilenko. He's able to stay with Williams, has to kick it back. There's a rainbow by Boozer.
Boy, beautiful penetration and pass from Deron Williams. So quick and strong penetrating. It reminds you a lot of Baron Davis in a way, with the way he can use that body and find angles in the lane.
There's Mcgrady to the left hand. Beautiful move.
Oh, it's been a struggle for Mcgrady, shooting just 38% in the series, but he's capable of just exploding as he did in game 1.
Quick release by Okur. A catch and shoot by Mehmet Okur. The Jazz up by 7.
Well, he's found his rhythm again. The first few games of the series, he could not buy a shot, but you mentioned the 19 points the other night, and he's off to the quick start here again.
Boozer one-hands it. Williams looks to set it up against Alston. Boozer. And Alston with the long rebound. It is game 7. Rockets and Jazz. The winner advances to face the Warriors. Now was stripped by Boozer. Fisher able to get to it. Crowd looking for a foul on that last play. Here's Boozer. Went to the left hand, and he is fouled. Now slow to recover and get back down court, so that'll put Boozer at the line. The foul is called on Battier.
Well, once again, Yao gets great position, but Boozer with the quick hands knocks it away, and then after this little scrum here, it becomes a 4-on-4 because Yao and Fisher got tangled up, and down a man defensively is just too easy for Utah to get the ball inside.
Kemi Mutombo has come on now for Yao Ming. So Yao sits down 3 of 4, 6 points. Couple of substitutions for the Jazz. Matt Hoffring and Gordan Giricek, who has been hitting the three-point shot, have both checked in. This is the second of our TNT playoff doubleheader. In game 1 of their best of 7, it was the Pistons walloping the Bulls 95-69. 20 apiece for Chauncey Billups. Rip Hamilton, Luol Deng led Chicago with 18, but a 95-69 victory for Detroit. And it's tipped home. Mutombo with his first bucket.
Well, we're seeing the bench units coming in now. This has been a huge advantage for Utah in this series. They've basically doubled the point total of the Rockets' reserves.
Here is Hawkring. Mutombo rebounds. Kevin Mutombo, who has come through in solid fashion this season at the age of 40. Mcgrady draws the foul. And he was such an important player with Yao Ming sitting out 32 games with that fractured right leg. And Dikembe, I don't think, expected to get the kind of playing time that he did during the regular season.
And he's in here early tonight for defensive purposes. He'll be next.
I sat and thought about it, and it is pretty much the biggest game of my career. It really is. You know, considering that this is the first time, you know, people favored me to win a series. And here we are. We have home court advantage, and, you know, in Game 7. And there's an opportunity to really advance to the second round. So yeah, this is the biggest game.
Tracy looking to get out of the first round for the first time in his NBA career. He is 0-5 in that department.
Well, he's been kind of lucky that the basketball world has focused its attention on this Dallas Golden State series. Dirk Nowitzki taking the brunt of people's attention and criticism. But if the Rockets were to lose this game, Mcgrady will be right. He'll be next. You know, people will be talking about him once again failing to get out of the first round. The first time he's had the home court advantage, as he mentioned. And keep in mind, this is year 3 of the Yao Ming McGrady combination, and they have nothing to show for it so far in terms of postseason success.
Here's Boozer, and rejected by Mutombo. Mutombo racing in from the weak side and came up with a block shot.
Well, it sure looked like a goaltend from our angle. I thought Boozer got the ball up on the glass first before Mutombo could get there. Let's see if we can find it here. Does it hit the backboard? Yeah, that looks like should have counted to me.
Well, Gary Sloan very upset along with his staff as they jumped off the bench. Aaron Collins has come on now for Utah. So Collins up front with Boozer and Hawkring. Here's another look.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy was really upset with Yao Ming for his lack of defense in the opening quarter. So he went with Mutombo, and that's exactly why. Even though that was a goaltend, the ref didn't call it. So yeah, that's what Mutombo does. Another block shot there. This one's from Mcgrady. But Mutombo turns up the volume for this Houston defense when he enters the game.
A shot clock down to 3 for Utah. The 2 blocks getting the crowd going. Boozer will inbound. Juricic gets it off. Rebounded by Mutombo.
Perfect opportunity for Juricic to just throw his body into the defender who had bit on that pump fake.
Here's Mcgrady. Yes. And the foul. The foul away from the ball. So Mcgrady drills it. The basket counts. And a Utah foul.
Well, Houston went on this little run as soon as Mutombo came in the game, because ultimately that's what the Rockets are. They're a defensive ball club. They make stops, and then they rely on this guy in the half court. And Mcgrady, we know, can get as hot as any player in the NBA.
Foul on Boozer puts Mutombo at the line, only a 69% free throw shooter during the regular season. 3-point play for the Rockets, and they are within 2. Paul Millsap, the rookie from Louisiana Tech, has come on for Utah. Nice give and go. Hawkring from Collins.
Boy, Harpring and Kirilenko, 2 of the best cutters in the league. They love to feed the post or come from the weak side and just attack that rim without the ball. Makes it awfully tough on that defense.
And a traveling violation is called. Mcgrady felt.
It may have been a foul on Mutombo, maybe an illegal screen.
No, they say
travel.
Yeah.
It was Luther Head who tried to stick his body in. Giricek said, I didn't touch him, and the officials agreed.
And Mcgrady was looking for a push. Giricek able to knock it down. The Jazz 26, the Rockets 20. So Alston and Head now in the backcourt. Luther Head has been struggling with his shot. Mcgrady up front with Mutombo and Juwan Howard, who just checked in. There's Mcgrady. Head for three. Good hustle, and then mishandled. And Giricek trying to track it down and not able to hang on, so the ball back to Houston.
Now look at the lineup right now for Utah, Marv. You got 4 reserves, just an indication of how much Jerry Sloan trusts his bench. And these guys are very active. You know, Giricek, Harpring, Millsap, they've been closing out on shooters in this series so well. It's one of the reasons why Houston has really struggled from the field.
That's a 5-second violation. Head could not get it in bounds.
It's a tough angle when you're down in that corner. And you've got to make sure you're making sharp cuts and setting good screens on that out-of-bounds play.
Down to 45 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Utah with a 6-point lead. Williams for three. Alston met by Williams.
I was going to say 2 for 1, and then I remembered, no, this is the Rockets. No way.
And a hooking call, says Mike Callahan. It's on the Jazz. And they're over the foul limit.
Oh, Giricek is at least the second defender Mcgrady has seen here in the first quarter. You see a little hold there. But Utah has been running multiple defenders at Mcgrady this entire series, trying to keep him off balance, show him different looks. They start with Fisher, who's got that strength. They go with Giricek. Ultimately, down the stretch, you'll probably see Andrei Kirilenko on him.
6 points for Mcgrady, just 2 of 6 from the field. Down to 24 seconds left in the quarter, and the Jazz will hold for a final shot. They lead by 4. It's the only first-round series to go to a 7th and deciding game. Now we're final seconds of the first. Giricek for 3 with 4 seconds left in the quarter. Here comes Mcgrady. They try to trap him, and he's not able to get the shot off. For Utah, strong start. They hit 12 of 19 from the field. And after one, it's the Jazz 29. The Rockets 22. We'll be back in Houston in a moment.
And there's another former Rocket, a great dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. Well, these former Rockets, Marv, whatever happened to that guy named Kenny Smith?
I believe he's busy, but I'm told that Steve Francis is in the house, as is Mario Ellie. Matt Bullen also doing color commentary. Second quarter gets underway as Aaron Williams is able to hit. These guys can put together an alumni game. Yeah. Second quarter is just getting started. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager. Jazz with a 9-point lead. Yao Ming is back defending on Jaron Collins. Good job by Matty fronting Harpring. Williams, tough angle shot for Deron Williams.
Oh, Marvin, this is the second game now in a row where Utah has really looked good offensively. Keep in mind, they're one of the best executing teams in the NBA. Second in the league in field goal percentage, second in assists, but in this series, it's been tough to get points. They're finally starting to find a groove here against this Houston defense.
Yao over Collins. Good job by Collins keeping Yao further outside. The Jazz shot 49% in the win the other night in Salt Lake City. And no call made. Lots of physical activity. 3-on-2. Head gets it down low, and the ball slapped away from Yao, recovered by Head. And as Alston made his move, a foul is called. Foul on Millsap. Now Andrei Kirilenko will check back in. There's the job that Collins is doing against the 7'6" Yao Ming.
That's that battle that Jeff Van Gundy talked about. The battle for that 4 feet, whether it's 8 feet or 12 feet. That seems to make all the difference in the world for Yao as to whether he scores or not.
Adier for 3. Rebounded by Howard. And he's fouled. He was hacked. Good job by Juwan Howard. And he'll go to the line. Millsap called for his second. Well, TNT will have conference semifinal coverage throughout next week. And tomorrow on ABC, it'll be game 1 of the Nets and the Cavaliers, followed by game 1 of the Spurs and the Suns. Coverage starts 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Nets wrapping up their series against the Raptors last night. What a sequence by Richard Jefferson at the end of that game. Game winner following a timeout, and then the steal of the pass. So Nets and Cavs, Spurs and Suns. And Thursday on ESPN, that'll be next Thursday, game 3 of the Pistons and Bulls. Coverage starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It's a shaky start here by the Rockets in all departments.
Well, keep in mind that Utah has led every game at halftime. So it's been a third quarter series for Houston in terms of coming back after slow starts. I think we're going to see a foul on Mcgrady for holding Kirilenko. But this has been a common theme in this series. Utah with a quick start, and then Houston comes back in the second half.
The last playoff series victory for the Jazz was back in 2000. They won their first round over the Sonics, and the good shooting continues here for Utah. Kirilenko with his first bucket. Since then, Utah has lost 4 straight series in the postseason, and they dropped 6 straight road playoff games. The runner by Head, and banks it home.
Big shot for Luther Head. He needed that one. He's struggled in this series. Hasn't been able to find his groove. And meanwhile, how about Utah, Marv? They're shooting 65%. They came into this game shooting 40% for the entire series.
And the bucket by Head stops a 9-0 Utah run. Williams loves that move off the crossover. Back comes Mcgrady. This is a Houston franchise that hasn't won a playoff series since back in 1997. McGrady's been off. Saved by Hopper.
He didn't want to shoot that. I mean, he was wide open, but he wasn't in rhythm, didn't feel it. And as a result, Millsap gets the wide open look at the other end.
Paul Millsap showing that he can use the glass. McGrady just 2 for 7. His team is now down by 13.
And you've got Andrei Kirilenko guarding him now. So the third Utah defender to cover Tmac.
His Head again with a runner.
Crowd starting to get a little anxious here in the second quarter.
Andrei Kirilenko did a nice job defensively in game 6 against McGrady. Core back on the floor. Rebounded by McGrady. And Yao is fouled. Yao Ming will go to the line, but first a timeout is called. Out on Millsap, that is his third.
Russell will inbound at half court.
Stockton, open three. Good! John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
A trip down memory lane for the Jazz. That was back on May 29th, 1997. John Stockton's three-pointer, putting Utah in its first ever NBA Finals. Bulls would beat the Jazz in 6 thanks to a last-second jumper in Game 6 by that Steve Kerr guy.
Thanks for mentioning that, Bart. Appreciate that.
37-24 Utah. The jump hook by Yao. Deron Williams with a magnificent first half. 8 points, 7 assists. And Williams open. He loves that angle shot.
Going against his former college teammate, Luther Head. But when Williams is playing well and you get Kirilenko and Okur going, this is a very good team. Remember, before that late collapse when they lost 12 out of their last 20 games, this is one of the best clubs in the NBA. We're going to see a foul on Utah there. But offensively, it's been an explosion here for Utah, particularly in this series. And Deron Williams feeling it from the perimeter.
Foul on Williams. Rafer Alston has checked back in. Comes on for Luther Head. A 14-2 spurt by the Jazz. And Tracy McGrady has not been able to get going. That will count. It's a goaltend. Kirilenko got a piece of it.
It's the first time McGrady has gotten into the lane. Everything to this point has been jump shots. That's what Kirilenko talked about earlier in this series. He said there are times when I'm going to foul him on the perimeter when I know he's got a step on me because I don't want him to get an easy bucket. McGrady's the kind of guy, if he gets a dunk, if he gets an easy bucket, a couple free throws, then that jumper really starts to fall.
Kirilenko gets inside, rebounded by Yao. Alston pushing. That by Williams. Yao is out deep. And here's Yao. Kept alive by Howard. And they have the new 24. Yao up front with Battier and Howard. McGrady got the step to the left hand, and he's fouled.
Yeah, it's 2 times in a row now, and with McGrady maybe a little shaken up. But twice in a row, he's gotten all the way to the rim. And Jerry Sloan cannot be happy about this because the entire game plan against McGrady is to keep him out of the lane. You see Boozer there gives no help on that screen and roll, and as a result, McGrady finds his way into the paint.
Tracy trying to walk it off. First foul on Kirilenko. Tracy a 71% free throw shooter, averaged just under 25 a game during the regular season. And the Rockets now 4 of 8 at the line. I know it's early, but you think back to the Rockets' last Game 7, not a pleasant experience. Losing by 40, remember 2 years ago at Dallas.
And this is not a team that's great when it's behind. I mean, they don't score well, particularly in this series. And they're not a running club. I mean, they have to play defense and then go through Yao and McGrady.
Yao looks to make his move. Rebounded by Okur. Yao now 3 of 8 from the field. Hit his first 3. He's missed his last 5. Slapped away by Yao. Timeout called by Jeff Van Gundy. The Jazz with a 14-point edge. Just under 6 to play. First half. He'll be the 5th coach in NBA history. Actually is the 5th coach to hit 1,000 wins, joining Lenny Wilkins, Don Nelson, Pat Riley, and Larry Brown, and the first coach in NBA history to collect 900 wins with one franchise, 940 in all with the Jazz.
And his teams have always taken on his personality. No matter what the personnel, teams always play hard. Alston misses the 3, and Yao looked like he went over Kirilenko's back, but didn't get called for the foul. But you think back to those teams in the 90s with Stockton and Malone, or this club, they play so hard. They run a really efficient offense in the half court. They make hard cuts, hard screens. It's another reason why they're a tough team to come back against. They play so hard.
Nice inbound pass, and McGrady was able to score a 12-point Utah lead with 5:20 left in the first half. Here's Boozer going right at Yao Ming and draws the foul. That's the second on Yao. And I think back to Jerry Sloan as a player, primarily with the Chicago Bulls, 2-time All-Star, All-Defensive First Team 4 times, and as you might expect, a very tough player.
Does he remind you of Matt Harpring a little bit, or vice versa, just in terms of how intense he was and how much vigor he plays with?
Yeah, Matt Harpring would have fit in very well with those Chicago Bulls teams.
Meanwhile, Sloan has gone back to Derek Fisher. You see Harpring there. I think Sloan was a little upset with Kirilenko's defense on Mcgrady. Remember, he got to the rim twice in a row on Kirilenko, and once again, Sloan goes to the different look. Back to Fisher, a little quicker, a little better guarding Tmac off the screen and roll.
That time not able to close, but Mcgrady was too strong. Rebounded by Battier. Fisher did a good job earlier against Mcgrady. Here's Yao looking for position and block. Kirilenko came over to help and came up with the block shot. Kirilenko passed on the jumper, taking to the rim, and it's last touched by the Rockets.
Well, Okur has done a terrific job on Yao Ming. Remember, Craig Sager talked about how Okur has anticipated some of those post moves. He knows that Yao likes to turn over that right shoulder. That's about the 5th or 6th time he's blocked Yao Ming's shot in this series. And you got a good look at Kirilenko coming down to help from the perimeter as well.
Jeff Van Gundy going smaller. He takes Yao Ming out, and the Jazz take advantage as Boozer lays it home.
Well, this has been a common theme throughout the playoffs, Marv. We're seeing the quicker teams win most of the battles, and Utah much quicker than Houston here tonight.
A 15-point Jazz lead. Battier from downtown. 9 points for Battier. And the 9 points have come on 3 3-pointers. The call away from the ball, the outside official, Bernie Fryer, makes the call on the Rockets. It's on Hayes. That's number 3.
And Jeff Van Gundy has gone to a smaller lineup. I think he knows that his team is just getting out-hustled. And there's just too much speed on this Utah team for them to handle. So he goes to his smaller lineup with Hayes, Battier, and Juwan Howard on the front line.
Shot clock down to 5. So the Jazz turn it over. Brady had to pull up the dribble. Once again, it's Fisher on Mcgrady. Now Boozer switches off. Open shot for Alston. That's a 3. Rachel Alston from beyond the arc.
2 threes in a row for the Rockets, both coming off of Tracy Mcgrady passes. So maybe this quicker lineup is able to spread the floor a little bit more for the Rockets, and Utah going to get a timeout here to talk about it. Mcgrady comes off that high screen. You see the attention. Deron Williams comes to him, leaves Alston in the corner. Obviously, Mcgrady more adept at putting the ball on the floor and creating shots for himself. But nonetheless, he's got his hands full against this Utah D.
And this crowd on its feet, urging on the Rockets in the midst of a 10-3 run until that field goal by Carlos Boozer. Utah is led by as many as 16. They were up 40-24. Coming up on 3 minutes to play in this first half. Mcgrady pops it out. Battier for 3. That's his 4th from downtown.
Hey, Carlos Boozer's having a hard time helping out on that high screen. And as a result, Mcgrady's breaking free, and then the Utah defense breaks down.
Foul is called.
See, when Mcgrady can shake free of that blitz on that screen and roll, it breaks everything down for Utah, and then the help has to come. Then you end up leaving an excellent 3-point shooter wide open in the corner.
Foul charge to Alston, so 14 fouls on the Rockets. Utah over the limit. Here's Fisher passing out a 3. They clear it out for Boozer. And he's rejected. Battier came over to help.
Boozer is furious. He thought he was fouled by Yao Ming.
Mcgrady posting up on Fisher. Had to give it up. There's Mcgrady. Yes. Had to adjust his shot as he made the turn while he was midair, although he thought he was fouled in the process. So the Rockets are now within 6 after trailing by as many as 16.
And for the first time in the game, The crowd is into it here.
Williams dribbled it out of bounds.
Take a look at Mcgrady on the post-up. He knows he can shoot over Fisher. He's just got to get the ball into position to do so. And he anticipated that slap coming, dealt with it, still was able to knock down the shot.
Just under 2 to go in the first half. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager from Houston. Nice pass. Howard from Mcgrady, and Tracy Mcgrady with assist number 8, bringing the Rockets within 4.
And everything has changed in this game as soon as Mcgrady started breaking down that Utah blitz on the high pick and roll.
Good hands to break up the fast play. Houston with a 13-2 run, and they have turned things here in the second quarter.
Well, Mcgrady didn't get into the paint at all in the first quarter, and Utah's defense was airtight. Not so here in the late stages of the second quarter.
Fisher with a rainbow 3. Rebounded by Boozer. Takes to the rim. That was impressive.
That was impressive. He and Jermaine O'Neal, I think, Marv, the two best left-hand finishers among right-handed big men in the entire league.
15 points for Carlos Boozer. Fisher knocked it aside. It was deflected. No backcourt violation. And Mcgrady lost it. Good job by Fisher. Look out. Foul is called on Howard. It's a blocking foul. And that'll put Williams at the line.
Boy, Derek Fisher is just a bulldog. What a trade for Utah. Able to pick him up. They anticipated him being a backup point guard, but he ends up being the starting 2 guard because he's so strong he can cover anybody out there.
Derek Fisher acquired from the Golden State Warriors as Deron Williams goes to the line. We go to Ernie Johnson in our Atlanta studios. Ernie.
Yeah, thank you, Marv. Coming up shortly, the T-Mobile halftime report. Kenny and Charles will be here. We've got a couple of special guests joining us long distance. Baron Davis and Jason Richardson will be live at halftime. And, of course, Golden State gets the winner of this series. And then all the highlights on Inside the NBA and all the post-game chatter. But stick around for Baron Davis and Jason Richardson in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Ernie. Yes, the Warriors wrapping up their stunning 6-game victory over Dallas this past Thursday night. We had the good fortune to be there. What a scene that was out in Oakland. Yao Ming rims out. Just under 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Nice pass from Williams, and it's Boozer again. Carlos Boozer with 17 points. Utah back up by 10.
And what a pass from Williams, who gets the pass off quickly enough to get his team a 2-for-1. They should get another possession here at the end of the half.
9-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Here's Yao, set up beautifully by Mcgrady.
This is an offensive explosion for these two teams. Keep in mind, the average score in this series has been 88-85.
Final seconds. Williams going high off glass. 2 seconds remaining of the half. Can Alston get it away? He does. Well, the Rockets trailed by as many as 16. They were able to rally in the second quarter, but Utah ends this first half on an 8-2 run after the Rockets came within 4 points. Carlos Boozer leading the way with 17. Deron Williams with 15. Tracy Mcgrady now 5 of 11, 13 points. Also has 9 assists, and Battier, who's been doing it from 3-point range, has 12 points. Let's go to Craig Sager with Carlos Boozer.
Well, Carlos, your lead of 16 got down to 4. Suddenly it looked like it was a very close game, and you exploded on a dunking barrage. What got into you?
Just trying to be more aggressive. You know, they're doing a good job of making us take jump shots. We got to be more aggressive and drive to the hole.
What was the difference that Tmac was finally getting into the paint and starting to make some passes to his teammates? What broke down?
On the pick and roll, we didn't do a good enough job. Our shows when it's good. That's the big spot. We got to help out our guards a little better. When he gets in the lane, all kind of happy breaks loose.
What's going to be different here in the second half? You've had the lead in every game. What's different besides the powder blue uniforms this time?
Well, I hope we keep the lead, first of all. We play better defense. Continue to move the ball on offense, hit the guys that are open. And we're up by 10 right now, so hopefully we can keep the lead.
All right, thanks a lot. And we'll be back with EJ and our gang in the Atlanta studios after this commercial break. As Boozer mentioned, Jazz up by 10.
The difference in the game is Carlos Boozer's fantastic, Deron Williams fantastic.
Scoring.
They're doing what they're supposed to.
Can the Rockets win this game, Charles?
Tracy McGrady is going to have to be spectacular. That's the only way they can win, because the other players, Yao Ming is not doing his job. He's letting them push him out too far on the floor. Tracy McGrady is going to have to go crazy, or the Rockets cannot win.
Utah has led at the half in every game in this series. They're up by 10 going to the third.
Welcome back to Houston on a humid 78-degree night. In the halftime score, Utah with a 53-43 lead on Houston. And Steve, in an oddity, this is the 7th straight game of this series that the Jazz have had the lead at the half. Can you explain that?
No, I can't. But I can tell you why they have the lead at this half. Carlos Boozer and Deron Williams have been dominant out there, and Houston has really struggled trying to stop this Utah offense, which has been so efficient. They're shooting 58%, but you saw those numbers right there. Houston has owned the third quarters in this entire series. So this is a big quarter here for both clubs. Utah wants to keep up its lead. As you look at the Chrysler game summary, shooting 58%. But in this series, Houston has managed to shut down the Jazz in the third quarter and continually get itself back into ball games.
Carlos Boozer, the high man, with 17. He had 9 in the last 5 minutes of the first half. Deron Williams with 15 points, 8 assists. Kirilenko with stripped. Alston pulls it back. Mcgrady, met by Okor, delivers to Yao, and he's stopped by Boozer.
Just too quick. Carlos Boozer too quick for Yao Ming at both ends of the floor.
Fisher wide open. And gets the roll. That's a 2. He had a foot on the line.
Now that is a soft touch. Derek Fisher enjoying that little touch that he showed on that one.
It's a 12-point Utah lead. McGrady sets it up for Yao Ming. And Tracy McGrady with assist number 10.
It's been a tough game for Yao Ming. He just has not been able to stop Carlos Boozer, and I think that's the problem. If you're Jeff Van Gundy, you look at the numbers with Yao in the game. Houston can't stop Utah. You know, without him, they're +5, so their defense is much better when he's on the bench.
Oh, Okor with a strong shot. That's not what he had in mind, but he'll take it as he goes glass. Tracy McGrady in Game 5 had a career high of 16 assists. He has 10 here, although he struggled earlier offensively, but he's come on.
Nice little set play call there by Van Gundy. Little double screen on the weak side from McGrady, and that gave him position against Fisher.
The Jazz have led by as many as 16. The Rockets came within 4. Kirilenko is fouled. He's hacked. Kirilenko to the line. It was fouled by Yao. That's 3 on Yao. Let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, Steve mentioned the difficult time Yao is having on the defensive end. Jeff Van Gundy said it's not all Yao. He says the entire team. The pick-and-roll defense, Yao is coming over to help on Deron Williams, and nobody is helping out Yao. He said they're also not closing out on the shooters, and the one-on-one defense, they're not containing dribble penetration. I said, they do anything different in this game? Nothing different than they've done in this series or for the 19 years Jerry Sloan has been at Utah. Instead of Stockton and Malone, it's Williams and Boozer. All that time Williams spent this summer studying with Stockton, paying off.
All right, Craig, 2 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Kirilenko defending on McGrady, got the step, and hits the reverse.
Well, I think that's what it's going to take for the Rockets to win this game. McGrady's going to have to take over because Houston having a very difficult time scoring. And you noticed Utah went back to Kirilenko that time, continuing to change their looks on Tmac.
Williams trying to squeeze it inside. 17 points, 10 assists for Mcgrady. Jeff Van Gundy takes a timeout. As Yao Ming went down, he's at the other end. The athletic trainer Keith Jones over to take a look. You see Yao holding that right knee. Will step away for a moment with 2.5 gone by here. He sat out with that fractured right leg, missing 32 games during the regular season, but Yao remaining on the floor. Mcgrady played by Kirilenko. They clear it out. Here's Mcgrady. Recovered by Yao.
And Mcgrady, you can see, has a different mentality this half. He's intent on taking over this game. A couple of quick moves that got him into the lane that led to Houston buckets here.
The Rockets are within 7. 7th and deciding game between the Utah Jazz and the Houston Rockets. Deron Williams. Back comes Mcgrady. Yao able to tip it over to Battier. Here's Battier. Draws the foul. Beautiful adjustment by Battier. First of all, to hold on to the basketball and then face the contact. The foul on Boozer, his second, and Battier will go to the line. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Marv, when Yao went down, as you said, a very big hush throughout this entire arena. He missed 32 games earlier this year with that fractured right tibia. When he was over to athletic trainer Keith Jones, he said it's not that part of the leg. He said he thinks he slightly hyperextended the knee. So fortunately for Yao Ming and the Rockets, nothing serious, not a reoccurrence of that fractured leg.
All right, thanks, Craig. Yao with 12 points, only 3 rebounds. But the Rockets, once again, battling their way back. They cut that lead down to 4 late second quarter. They're now within 5.
And it's time for Boozer to go to work.
Kirilenko was stopped. Mcgrady got a piece of it. They're on their feet here in Houston. Yao is fouled. Nice pass by Hayes, who slipped it to Yao, who will head to the foul line.
This is a play Houston has run all night. A high screen and roll. Ball swings from one side to the other, and then the good interior feed there from Hayes. And for the first time all night, you can feel that Houston is rolling a little bit. They feel good about themselves. They got the crowd back in it. And Yao, a terrific foul shooter, misses the first.
A foul called on Deron Williams. And the Rockets 6 of 12 at the line. You mentioned Yao at the free throw line. He's 86%. He was during the regular season. Kirilenko and Fisher now depart. It's Harpring and Girichek checking back in.
And Utah's got to get back to that efficient offense they played in the half court in the first half. That's one of the reasons why Girichek and Harpring are coming in here, 2 of the better cutters on this team. But they've got to start moving this Houston defense around like they did in the first half.
7 unanswered points for the Rockets. Okor played by Hayes, and Okor able to shoot over Chuck Hayes, who goes 6'6".
Tough shot there from Okor. Excellent defensive possession for Houston, but Okor has his rhythm back after really struggling early in the series.
10 points, 8 rebounds for Okor. Mcgrady now played by Girichek. Here's Mcgrady. Girichek usually on the floor for his shooting. Not noted for his defensive skills. That's a kick ball. And the last touch by Houston.
McGrady's got a whole different look. You see the little wink there, but he's feeling it. And you can see the energy. You can see it in his eyes. He's attacking. And when he's playing like this, there aren't many people in the league who can stop him.
19 points for Mcgrady. Rockets within 4. We're early in the third. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager.
And that third quarter surge, the one that's happened all series, is coming for Houston. And You start to think a little bit, Norm, about the collapse that Utah had at the end of the regular season. They lost 12 of their last 20 games, basically handed Houston his home court advantage. And as most people will tell you, home court doesn't really come into play until Game 7.
1 point, the Jazz with 43 and 19. Yao with the rejection. Boozer trying to take it to the rim, and Yao slapped it away.
Well, if he can stay on the floor and stay in front of Boozer, then it changes everything, because Houston is much better offensively with Yao in the ballgame.
Williams cut off by Alston and foul. As Deron Williams ends up in the photographer's area. All right. Foul on Rafer Alston, and Deron Williams in his second year out of Illinois. He spells his first name D-E-R-O-N. He says his first name is usually mispronounced. He says the public address guys around the NBA often introduce him as Deron, and says he uses that as motivation. Yeah, that'll get you up for a game when your name is mispronounced.
Must be bouncing off the walls.
He hits 1 of 2 at the line. The Jazz 61, the Rockets 56. Utah's led by as many as 16 points. Mcgrady foul. He had the step on Garicek. Mcgrady saying that he was attempting a shot. Let's see what the call is. Garicek with his third. It is a non-shooting foul.
About the third or fourth time we've seen that play, that weak side double screen. And Deron Williams may have to switch that, because that's too difficult for Garicek to get over to beat Mcgrady to the spot.
That's the 13th foul on the Jazz. Wet spot on the floor being taken care of. Houston Rockets went 52 and 30 in the regular season. They had a very strong season, particularly with Yao Ming sidelined for 32 games, 52 wins, the most for the Rockets since back in 96-97 when they won 57. Hayes getting inside. Chuck Hayes, who made the team as a free agent after playing 4 years at Kentucky. He was cut in training camp 2 years ago, and then cut again because he didn't pass the physical with a sprained ankle. Here's Boozer. What a touch he has had. Carlos Boozer with 19 points.
And how about the pass from Deron Williams? 10 assists now. He and Boozer have really controlled this game.
Pass intended for Yao. He tipped out. Last touch by the Jazz. Houston will have it with 10 on the shot clock. Jeff Van Gundy, the head coach of the Rockets in his 4th season with Houston, a Coach of the Year candidate, an honor won by Sam Mitchell of the Raptors. Mcgrady, rebounded by Hoffering.
First time he's settled in this half. He's been so successful attacking and really putting Utah's defense on its heels. Maybe he let them off the hook there.
Hoffering now played by Mcgrady. Shot clock is to 6. Good job by Battier fronting on Okor. Hoffering. Rebounded by Boozer. There's Garicek. He was just flipping it up and got the hop.
And a second chance opportunity because Carlos Boozer put it on the floor, got past Yao, and that really broke Houston's defense down.
Oh, beautiful backdoor pass. Right for Alston to Tracy Mcgrady.
And they got pep in their step, and they should. I mean, the season's on the line here, and Houston finally playing with the energy that it's going to take to win this game.
Hoffering able to get down low and avoided Yao, who came over trying to help out.
He avoided Yao, and he put his body right into Mcgrady so that Mcgrady wouldn't be able to elevate to block the shot.
There's Battier for 3. Rebounded by Okor. Just under 5 left in the third quarter. Boozer over Yao.
Not much you can do about that. And especially if you're Yao Ming, because Boozer is just so much quicker. But that little sidestep dribble to create some space, he's got that beautiful touch.
Carlos Boozer led the Jazz during the regular season, averaging just under 21 points a game. Alston for three. Rebounded by Boozer. Rockets get back. Offering, nice pass, Boozer. And a blocking foul. If it's Yao, it's number 4.
And it is Yao. Juwan Howard's going to come in to replace him. And let's take a look. Looks like Boozer had the step on him. Nice speed from Harpering. Yao comes over. And the bump. Absolutely good call.
Carlos Boozer to the line, only a 68% free throw shooter. Yao Ming sitting down, leads with 13 points, only 3 rebounds. Boozer 3 of 6 at the line. Well, from exclusive courtside interviews to encore editions of the Emmy Award-winning Inside the NBA, log on to NBA.com. TNT Overtime's playoff coverage. TNT Overtime, the basketball broadband channel that's on all the time, only at NBA.com. Utah with a 10-2 run after the Rockets came within 3. So they have that lead back to double digits. Mcgrady is fouled by Giricek.
Well, they've weathered the storm. And now with Yao Ming on the bench, they can really focus a little bit more on Tracy McGrady. See Giricek picking up the foul there. I don't know if there's a player in the NBA who is relied upon more individually than Tracy McGrady. I mean, Yao Ming's a great scorer. He averages 25 a game in the regular season, but McGrady has to create almost every play for Houston. Eventually, I think they're going to have to get some more playmakers on their roster.
Well, that's another story for
another time.
Yes. Shot clock down to 1. Reach and foul on Alston.
Well, it may be another story for tomorrow. I mean, if they don't pick it up, that may be something that the Houston papers are writing about and talk shows. But, you know, Jeff Van Gundy told us, you know, we can outwork a lot of people in the regular season. That's one of the reasons we can win games. And let's face it, there's a lot of bad teams in the NBA this year. That's how they were able to rack up 52 wins. But in the playoffs, when you don't have a playmaker and everything rides on one guy, very easy to defend.
As Jeff's saying that they play hard almost every night. Okor rims out rebound Hayes. And as a result, he said he felt they were usually better prepared on back-to-backs and last games of long road trips. But in the playoffs, yes, it is different, particularly with time between games. That three-point attempt way off, and Hayes able to get to it. And they reset. McGrady putting the move on Kirilenko. Kirilenko rebound.
Like McGrady lost his footing there.
Aubrey coming up short on the fadeaway attempt. Both clubs now having trouble scoring. Here's Alston.
And this is where Utah has to take advantage of this little run they're on. You see Jerry Sloan calling out a play. They need to execute here. In fact, he's going to get a timeout because he knows this is an important little stretch here for the Jazz.
So the timeout with just under 2.5 to play in the third. 71-6
in strength because you cannot be bothered on the dribble, and it's easier to penetrate. Chris Paul would probably qualify there too. He's maybe not as big, but very strong.
Right off the steal. Reach and foul is called on Fisher. So the Jazz over the foul limit. Derek Fisher checking back in.
And nothing bothers a coach more than that. Jerry Sloan calls a timeout. He wants to get his team set up offensively. And then not only do they have a poor possession, but then a foul at the other end for 2 quick free throws.
Rafer Alston played in all 82 games this season in his 8th year out of Fresno State. Originally a second-round pick of the Bucks, spent 3 years there. Short time with Miami and Toronto. Terlenko being played by Head. Coming up on 2 minutes left in the third. Here's Collins. Rockets trying to cut further into that Utah lead. They've led by as many as 16. Rockets have come within 3. Houston going with Tracy McGrady on the bench. Jeff Van Gundy giving him a rest here. And as Battier makes his move, a foul is called. Basket will not count. Hooper Head will say, yeah, that's not bad. I hit that shot. Maybe that will get me going.
Meanwhile, 2 more free throws for the Rockets. So consecutive possessions where Utah doesn't even make them put up a shot. I mean, they get 4 quick points, assuming Battier makes his second one.
Foul was called on Hoffring. Reminder, TNT will have conference semifinal coverage throughout next week. Tomorrow on ABC, Game 1 between the Nets and the Cavaliers, followed by Game 1 of the Spurs-Suns series. Thursday on ESPN, Game 3 of the Pistons and the Bulls.
And with McGrady on the bench getting his rest, Yao Ming comes back in with 4 fouls. Houston has to have at least one of them on the floor at all times.
Oh, nice fake. Boozer off the head fake, walking around Juwan Howard.
You see, it's not just Yao Ming that has trouble with Boozer. He is so quick. Juwan Howard could not do anything with it.
Offensive foul on Battier, setting the illegal screen.
Well, take a look at Boozer. We saw him make this move earlier on Yao Ming. Maybe a little hook with the left arm, gets away with it. Just too quick for basically this entire front line.
Utah has led virtually all the way. Rockets scored the first bucket of the night, and since then it's in all Jazz. Fisher rebounded by Howard.
Utah's offense is broken down here a little bit, and they've got to do a better job of executing and getting the ball to Boozer.
Now played by Collins with help. Fisher comes over, and a foul. Good job by Yao to telegraph to the officials saying, I was hit hard. But it was kind of a late reaction by Yao. The foul is called. Collins with his first.
So that flailing arm was kind of a signal to Tom Washington.
And Yao, so as you mentioned earlier, has been a superb free throw shooter. Just 1 of 3 at the line here tonight. Deron Williams getting a brief rest, checks back in. 73-65, Utah, 45 seconds left in the third. It's the 7th and deciding game. The winner tonight advances to the Western Conference semifinals to go up against the Warriors. Williams on the follow of the missed shot.
And Yao Ming couldn't really attack him defensively. He didn't want to pick up that 5th. So Williams just used the left hand, went right around him.
Rockets without a field goal the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds. The runner by Alston stops that streak.
And he was just 1 for 9 going into that shot, so that's a big one for Alston.
Final seconds of the third. Utah will hold for a last shot of the quarter. Offering. Boozer. After 3, it's the Jazz 75 and the Rockets 67. Utah for the night at 53% from the field, led by Carlos Boozer with 25. We are back in downtown Houston at the Toyota Center. Better than 18,000 on hand capacity crowd. Time now for the Lamisil Gel Advanced Performance.
Oh, it's been Carlos Boozer just totally dominant tonight. You see the offensive board, the putback with the left hand, able to knock down that mid-range jumper. How about the pass from the high post? And he's one of those versatile players who can play either the low post or the high post. So scoring over Yao Ming there, he has had the complete edge over Yao Ming this entire series. Just too quick, and he's had his way down low.
Carlos Boozer has been hit hard by injuries during the course of his 5-year NBA career. Spent 2 years with Cleveland. This is his 3rd season with Utah, and the subject of many trade rumors during this past offseason.
An all-star this year for the first time. Just had a phenomenal season. 21 and 12, 56% shooting.
4th quarter underway. Tracy Mcgrady back on the floor. Yao Ming connects. Hit the deck on the funnel through. It's a 6-point Utah lead.
Well, Mark, keep in mind, this is a Rocket team that has very difficult time coming back, particularly in the 4th quarter. You look at that, 1 in 25 this season coming back after the 3rd quarter. They did win game 5, though, after trailing by 4.
And that due to the lack of offense. Williams comes up short. Oh, gathered in by Millsap. He's stopped. Mcgrady dumps it down low, and Yao is fouled. Good look from Tracy Mcgrady, who has been dishing out assists along with his 21 points. He has 11 assists. The foul on Okor, that's his first. So Yao to the line where he's hit only 2 out of 4. Let's go to Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Tracy Mcgrady back on the floor after resting those final 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter. During that timeout between quarters, Jeff Van Gundy went up to him today. Are you ready? And Tmac appeared to be in deep thought and was just staring straight ahead. Van Gundy repeated, are you ready? Tmac nodded his head and said yes. But he was obviously thinking, perhaps not only is this the biggest game of his career, but this 4th quarter could be the biggest 12 minutes of his career as well.
Well, Tracy Mcgrady looking to get out of the 1st round for the first time in his 10-year NBA career. 0 for 5 in that department. Houston within 4. They've cut the lead to 3. The steal. Here comes Alston. He's pushed by Okor. And that will be either in the act or a breakaway. They say in the act.
What a surge here to start the 4th quarter by Houston. 4 quick points, a possible 2 more here with the Alston free throws, and they're doing it at the defensive end. They're showing a lot of activity and energy defensively.
Rafer Alston, 73% free throw shooter, and 3 of 3 tonight. The Rockets within 3. They cut into that 16-point lead back in the 1st half, came within 3. As you look at the profile on Skip Timalu, as he is known in the playgrounds of Queens, Rafer Alston. Battle for the rebound. Last touch on the Jazz.
Everything going Houston's way here. The bench loves it. The crowd is really into this now. They've been standing up the last 3 or 4 minutes. And an opportunity to cut it to 1 or maybe even tie it.
Derek Fisher back on Mcgrady, gets the step and scores. It's now to 1. Utah up by 1 with a minute and a half gone by in the 4th. Harpering backs his way, and Harpering puts it home.
Well, that's one way to maybe slow Mcgrady down. You go at him at the other end.
77-74. Utah by 3. They double up on Mcgrady. Here's Yao Ming. Rockets looking for a foul, but the official, Bernie Pryor, said no, all ball. Boozer, nice pass, but Okoro is stripped. apparently Mcgrady stepped out of bounds as he took the ball away.
Boy, the Jazz had a 5-on-4 there with Yao down at the other end, and they just did not handle that very well. They didn't spread the floor, and as a result, a lot of traffic in the lane. They should have converted there.
Jeff Van Gundy pulling out Yao Ming. Has 4 fouls, but wants to provide a rest. Chuck Hayes checks back in. Offering. Oh, someone lost a defensive assignment.
That's the oldest out-of-bounds play in the book in the NBA. Pick the picker. You've got to either switch that or communicate and get through.
79-74, Utah. And Luther Head, who has been struggling, is able to knock it down. It's a 3 for Head.
Showed no fear after struggling all series, but he let it fly. Didn't even think about it.
Boozer rebounded by Howard.
Now keep in mind, with Yao on the bench, this is a better, quicker front line defensively for Houston.
Alston looking for the pick. Mcgrady going at Fisher. The long rebound handled by Fisher. Rockets get back. Fisher able to split through, and he's fouled. That'll put Fisher at the line, but first a timeout taken. Foul on Alston. That's number 4. A shade over 3 minutes gone by here in the 4th. The Utah lead is 2. Against the Dallas Mavericks, turned out to be the most lopsided Game 7 in the history of the NBA. The Mavericks beat the Rockets by 40 points, 116-76, although Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming combined for 60 points. The rest of the team managed only 16 of that 40-point loss, and a very long night for Jeff Van Gundy.
Remember that series, Houston actually won the first 2 games on the road in Dallas. Looked like they were going to just run away with it, and the Mavericks battled back and took over. And you think to that, you think of all the playoff failure here in Houston in the last 10 years. Haven't won a series in a long time. But this game basically defines the season for Jeff Van Gundy and the Rockets. If they win, no matter what happens in the next round, this season is a success. If they lose, no question about it, it's a failure. And you know, this is year 3 with Yao and Mcgrady. Still no playoff series victories. They've got to win this.
Check in with Craig.
Well, you mentioned the big comeback from Dallas in that series. I remember that because I was there. Dallas goes up 3-2 after losing the next 2. We talked to Tracy McGrady before Game 6 in the Toyota Center. He scored 37 points, had a spectacular game to even the series. It was feeling pretty good. Thought maybe they had some momentum, but they went to that Game 7, and they were just blown out from the start.
All right, Craig. Meanwhile, Tracy McGrady to the bench for a rest. Oh, it's off glass. Rafer Alston firing from downtown, too strong, but he got the count, and the game is tied at 80. There's Williams, rebounded by Yao Ming. Alston pushing it. Head, Howard, Yao, and a foul. It's on Okor, who comes away hobbling.
And we talked early in the telecast, Marv, about the importance of getting some contributions from people other than Yao and Mcgrady. Well, Luther Head knocked down a 3 that Rafer Alston banks one home there. How about Shane Battier? He's made 4 threes, got 16 points. So they're finally getting contributions from outside of their big 2, and that's how they finally got this lead.
So the Rockets take the lead for the first time since the opening minute. Meanwhile, Mehmet Okor limped over to the Utah bench. Rockets have come from 16 down and lead by 2. A steal by Alston. to the crossover. And a foul is called. Team foul number 4 on the Jazz, a non-shooting affair. Todd Williams, that's his 3rd.
And they've taken this lead with Mcgrady on the bench.
Mattier coming on for Mcgrady. Yao fouled by Collins. And they're in the bonus.
In the bonus for 7.5 minutes. And that means Jerry Sloan's team is going to have a very difficult time guarding that man down the stretch, because you know Mcgrady will be attacking late.
Yao Ming, 6 of 8. At the line, Mehmet Okur back on the floor, testing that left ankle. The Rockets have their biggest lead of the night.
This is why we talk about home court in Game 7. That's when it really comes into play. Utah has probably been the better team in this series. They just have not been able to break through. And once again here tonight, they're giving up an excellent performance, and Houston now in control.
And it has been a home court series. Rockets winning all 3 here at home. The Jazz winning their 3 home games. Williams with that pass that had to be run down by Okur. Here's Boozer. Shot contested by Yao. Kirilenko is on it, but his pass is deflected out of bounds.
The crowd doesn't like it, but that's a great call from Tom Washington. Kirilenko was trying to throw it back out to the top of the circle area, and somebody with Houston deflected it.
7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in this 4th quarter. Here's another look. Well, it's hard to see.
Directed.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got a piece of it.
Now, they may have gotten a piece of his arm, and sometimes what officials will do is, rather than call a foul, they'll just give the team that was fouled the ball out of bounds. I don't know if he was even touched still.
Wait a minute, are you saying you're making up rules here?
No, that's what officials do.
No. Foul on Howard. His 2nd. Boozer to the fadeaway. Hoffman trying to keep it alive and succeeds. What a play by Matt Hoffman. Boozer going at Yao, and a foul. Yes, it counts. So Boozer will head to the line. A foul on Yao Ming. That's number 5.
And this is when he's been most effective against Yao in this series. Facing up, little dribble move, just too quick, and Yao tries to come over a little late. And Yao will go to the bench.
Tracy Mcgrady will check back in. Comes on with Chuck Hayes, so both Yao and Luther Head sit down. And here is Boozer seeking a 3-point play and looking for his 28th point. What a performance by Carlos Boozer. Rockets lead 84-83. 6:45 remaining in the 4th. The winner advances to the 2nd round. Mcgrady with a series of moves. That won't count. And Kirilenko went for all 3 fakes.
Well, remember in Game 6 in the 4th quarter, Kirilenko did a nice job on Mcgrady. Held him to 1 for 8 shooting in the 4th quarter. And one of the reasons Jerry Sloan likes to have him on Mcgrady is because of his length. The problem now with the team in the penalty, Kirilenko can't be too aggressive. And you see, as soon as he goes to the fake, McGrady's got him on a string. And if McGrady's going to go to the foul line this entire 4th quarter, then Utah's in some trouble.
Tracy now 4 of 7 at the line. And you see that the stat line, not only 24 points, also 11 assists.
He's been fantastic after the slow start shooting. He's just taken whatever the defense has given him, and his intensity has really picked up in the 2nd half.
Utah in possession. They now trail by 3. Kirilenko gets it out to Okur. Bad pass. Broken up by Alston. Rafer Alston has done a good job in the 2nd half at both ends. Offering now on Mcgrady, goes to the crossover and scores! Yes, and the foul!
Well, Tracy Mcgrady said before the series, it's on me, it's on my shoulders. And you can see right now, he's putting his team on his shoulders here in the fourth quarter.
"27 points for Mcgrady. He's 5 of 8 at the line. And Mcgrady tipped it away. So Houston back in possession. Offering all over Mcgrady. Alston lost his footing. Back comes Williams. Boozer. Oh, what a power move. What right at Battier. 88-85 Houston.
Well, they obviously go right back to Mcgrady, and I think he's got to look to attack. He knows his team's in the penalty, and Kirilenko can't put a hand on him.
Howard open. Coming up on 5 minutes to play here in the fourth. Winner tonight advances to the Western Conference semifinals to face the surprising Golden State Warriors. Kirilenko from downtown. Andre Kirilenko has tied the game at 88.
And how about the confidence to take that shot? Remember, he was a non-factor at the beginning of this series, actually in tears after game one because of his performance. But Kirilenko has come up big here late in the series, and particularly right now with this three-point look that ties the game.
Kirilenko with that clutch three-pointer to tie the game. And he has been coming on. Steve, you mentioned that emotional reaction to barely playing in game one. And game 6 Thursday night in Utah, his best performance of the series, 14 points. He had 5 blocked shots. He is back defending Mcgrady. Kept alive by Howard, and they have a new shot clock.
Yeah, he turned in one of those typical Kirilenko performances that we were used to a couple of years ago when he was an all-star. Stats all the way across the board, and I think he gained a lot of confidence from that game.
Mcgrady to the step back. Rebounded by Williams.
And again, you know, he settled for 2 jump shots there. And I think he's got to attack. He knows they're in the penalty. He's got to get to the free throw line.
Boozer, it counts, and the foul. Carlos Boozer once again taking it to the rim. And he'll go to the line. The foul is on Hayes. That's his 4th.
Well, Houston was really stretched out because they attacked that high screen and roll. And Utah did an excellent job spacing the floor and then making the right pass. A little late on the recovery from Chuck Hayes.
Yao Ming is back. Juan Howard sits down. 32 points for Carlos Boozer. 6 of 9 at the line. To be one of the highest arcing free throws in the league.
I was going to say the same thing. Oh, the rainbow.
8-0 run now for the Utah Jazz. They lead by 3. The drop step, yes, and the foul. What a gorgeous move by Yao Ming.
Well, Jeff Van Gundy told us before the game that when Yao Ming has taken 2 dribbles in this series, there's just been too many problems, too much help coming. Well, nobody comes to help there. So 2 dribbles is fine. And Okur picks up the foul.
That's 4 on Okur. Yao 6 of 6 at the line here in the fourth quarter.
What a game.
Tied at 91, just under 4. Remaining of the fourth. Pick and roll, but Yao cut it off. And that's a backcourt violation.
Great help side defense. And Boozer rolled to the bucket. Houston rotated from the weak side. That forced Boozer to throw it back out. And Williams couldn't retrieve it.
Rockets back in possession. Just under 4 to play. In the fourth, Houston has come from way back. They trail by as many as 16. They had the lead briefly. Yao, further out than he'd like to be.
Way further out. He needed to get about 8 or 10 feet from the hoop. He was about 15 that time.
Okour for three. Mehmet Okour from downtown. What a quick release.
Remember how many huge shots Okour has hit in this regular season, particularly the first half of the year. He hit so many big threes, so he is not afraid to take that one.
13 points, 11 rebounds for Okour. Here's Yao. Nothing Okour could do. Yao Ming getting in very deep. Tracy Mcgrady got it right to him for his 12th assist. Utah up by 1. Yao with 22-13 here in the fourth. Just under 3 to play in the fourth. Williams. Oh, what a move.
Beautiful move. Utah put Yao Ming in that high screen and roll. They knew that he didn't have the lateral quickness to contain Williams. And what a nice move, knifing into the lane.
20 for Williams. 3-point Jazz lead. 2:20 to play in the fourth. Yao backs Okour. The ball slapped away. It's a 3-on-2 led by Williams. However, the Rockets hustle back.
And nice help that time from the Utah defense coming down. Something they neglected to do on the previous possession.
Poppering. Rebounded by Yao. And these are huge possessions. As this game comes down to the final minutes, here's Hayes. Got away with a travel.
I think he did.
The Rockets move within 1.
Assist number 13 for Tracy Mcgrady, who is doing it all out there for the Rockets.
And Utah upset that there was no call right here.
There's that high screen, the quick pass, and a little shuffle. Oh. Absolutely. He gets away with it, though. Passing here from the Jazz as Williams swings it to Okour, who finds Boozer. Boozer kind of slipped that pick before he actually set it, and that's how he got down so quickly. Shane Battier was in a tough spot trying to cover 2 different people, and excellent feed from Okour, who at 6'11" can see over the top of the defense from that 3-point line.
Timeouts remaining. Utah with 2:20s. Houston has a full and a 20. There are no fouls to give. 1:40 to play in the fourth quarter. The Jazz 96, the Rockets 95 in the 7th and deciding game. Okour for 3. Boozer gets a hand on it and back tap.
That was a man's rebound right there.
So they have the new 24. Okour from the other side for 3. Mehmet Okour with another clutch 3-pointer.
He wanted it. He thought the first one was in, so he felt good. He said, why not? I'll let another one fly.
Rockets down by 4. Mcgrady backs up on Okour. 1 minute to play. Yao gets inside. Oh, he is fouled and hits the floor hard. Landed on his elbow. He went down at the other end of the first half and hurt his leg. Foul on Harpering.
Well, Utah ends up with a switch here. Kirilenko trying to handle Yao, who does a nice job of retrieving that pass after it was deflected. And then this is exactly what you have to do if you're Matt Harpering. Make him earn the 2 points.
Ouch. Yao Ming started the game 1 of 3 at the line. Since then, he's hit all 8 of his attempts. He has 27 points. Utah's lead is 3.
And you'd have to expect the Jazz to go back to Boozer. They love that matchup with Boozer and Yao. So we'll see if they run that screen and roll that's been so effective with Williams and Boozer.
So the season for both the Rockets and the Jazz coming down to this. 50 seconds to play and a 2-point lead for Utah. Okoro for three. Hovering with the save. Down to 35 seconds in the fourth. 15 on the shot clock. Neither club can give a foul. They're both over the limit. Shot clock to 5. Oh, 4. Again a three-point attempt. And again, the Jazz are on it. The ball slapped away from Boozer. And a foul is called. Foul on Alston, number 5. That'll put Boozer at the line.
Well, this is the Utah Jazz in a nutshell. Okoro constantly stretching the floor. That brings big people out, and that means rebounding lanes. That's why the Jazz led the NBA in rebound margin. They're a terrific rebounding club. And with Boozer with that speed advantage over Yao, it's easy for him to chase down those long ones.
During the season, Boozer only a 68% free throw shooter, 8 of 11 here tonight. Utah by 3. 19.9 to play in the fourth. Critical free throws converted by Carlos Boozer. The Jazz 101. The Rockets 97. We'll be back to Houston in a moment. Down by, we have seen Tracy McGrady in this type of scenarios back December of 2004 against the Spurs. Houston down 8 with 34 seconds left, and McGrady went to work. Tracy McGrady from downtown. And the Spurs now lead by 7. The foul is picked up. A contested 4-point play over forward court. Brown lost it. Here comes McGrady. No timeouts remaining. McGrady for the win. Steal the game. McGrady with 13 points in the final 34 seconds, including that game-winning 3 to give Houston a 1-point win. Can he do it here? It'll be Houston ball. They're down by 4.
I think he'll attack the rim here, Marv, rather than go for the 3.
They do not want to foul, and they force him to give it up. We're down to 10 seconds. He can't find the shot. Now he does take to the rim. So it's a 2-point game with 9.8 remaining. Rockets are over the limit. They don't foul. What's going on here? They do not foul. They cannot get to a Utah player. And finally the foul is called with 1.7 left.
I don't know why they didn't foul Williams, who looked like he was waiting for the foul. He wanted those free throws. But they allow, what, about 8 seconds to go off the clock? I mean, McGrady or Battier's got to just grab him. And then an excellent job by Harpring and Kirilenko. I think they're lucky to get this foul because Kirilenko gets rid of it well before the foul is committed. I think the game should be over. Meanwhile, Kirilenko with 2 free throws.
He's a 73% free throw shooter during the regular season. And 2 of 3 tonight, so it's a 3-point game with 1.7 remaining. And the Rockets do have 2 20-second timeouts left. So he hits both for a 4-point lead. And Jeff Van Gundy calls for time in what is a bleak situation for the Rockets. Here's Yao just pushing it up, and it's all over. The Utah Jazz have won here in Houston. 103 to 99. So finally a road team wins in this series. They take it in 7. And once again, Tracy McGrady is not able to advance past the first round. The Jazz will go on to face the Golden State Warriors. How about Carlos Boozer? 35 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. Deron Williams, 20 points, 14 assists. Mehmet Okoro, big threes down the stretch, 16 points, 11 rebounds. Tracy McGrady finished with 29. Yao Ming also had 29. It's time for tonight's closer of the game, presented by TNT's The Closer.
Oh, Carlos Boozer was really the key to this series. His speed edge over Yao Ming, his power inside, his ability to finish. He had that 41-point game in Game 2, and that really kick-started him. 35 and 14 tonight. He was just phenomenal.
An all-new season of The Closer begins June 18th on TNT. Let's go to Craig with Carlos Boozer.
Well, you try to shake things up. You went to the powder blue uniforms before the game. You said at halftime you needed to change the way you're playing, needed to attack. Talk about the overall game and the fact that you guys are advancing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this was a hell of a series. Both teams played terrific all season. I mean, the whole series. We tried to attack them, try to be more physical, get more free throws. They did a great job. I mean, for a while it was back and forth scoring, back and forth free throws. And I'm just happy we're moving on.
Talk about how you and this team has grown up during this playoff series. We talked to Jerry Sloan. He said Carlos Boozer was so excited before Game 1 he had nothing left at halftime. Now, obviously, you dominate the game. This decides you going on to the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting 5 years to get in the playoffs, so I was real excited. I had a terrible Game 1. I had Charles call me out, woke me up a little bit. I appreciate that, Charles. And I'm going to tell you, this team was real resilient. We did grow up a lot. We down 0-2. To come back and win the first two at home, tied up, shows about our character. We never stopped fighting. We did a hell of a job, and what a game.
We talked about this being the biggest game of Tracy McGrady's career. Obviously, the biggest game so far of your career, but what thoughts do you have for Tmac right now?
For Tmac? He's a hell of a player. I mean, he's going to get through the first round at some point. They had a great chance this time. This game, we just finished better down the stretch than they did. He's a hell of a ball player. I wish him the best of luck in the future. But we're moving on.
If I were to ask you a couple of weeks ago who you'd rather play, Dallas or Golden State, you probably would have said Dallas. But after watching Golden State play these last couple of weeks in this first round, your thoughts about playing the Warriors?
Well, they present a lot of matchup problems. When they go small, all 5 positions can handle, can shoot, can get to the rack. We're going to have to do some studying, get back in the lab and watch the tape a little bit and figure out how we're going to defend them. And the other side, figure out how to score on them because they do a good job in that matchup zone.
Well, thanks a lot. They can begin the studying by noticing that they played them 4 times in the regular season, Marv. Home team won all 4.
That sounds familiar, at least until tonight. So the Utah Jazz move on to the Western Conference semifinals in a matchup with Baron Davis, Steven Jackson, and the Golden State Warriors. For the first time since 2000, the Jazz advanced past the first round. It's their first Game 7 win since defeating Denver in Salt Lake City back in 1994. Then they lost to the Rockets in the next round. They had lost their 2 previous Game 7 road games. It's their first road playoff win since 2002. That a first-round victory at Sacramento. They had dropped 6 straight on the road. And as we mentioned, for Tracy McGrady, once again, not able to get past the first round. Final score, the Utah Jazz 103, the Houston Rockets 99. They take the series in 7 thanks to our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renardo Lowe, associate directors Tom Heitz, production assistant Tim McDermott and Eric Duncan, and our statistician Paul Evans. For Craig Sager, Steve Kerr, and our entire crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from Houston. Now let's go to Ernie, Kenny, and Charles back in our TNT studio in Atlanta.